Welcome to Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone is entitled to my opinion, and I'm Bill Stone. Well, had something happen tonight that I never wanted nor expected, but here in Lincoln, Nebraska, where I live, city of about 40,000 rather, and the state capital, among other things, saw something on the news saying that there was a significant disturbance last night. And then I thought, well, you know what? I live here. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do a little bit of citizen journalism. And so that's exactly what I did. I took a bunch of footage. I have not yet seen the footage. I have it put in here, so you will be seeing it all for the first time myself. I will tell you that at one point I was too close to one of the tear gas and got tear gassed. It wasn't bad. I was on the very edge and I moved myself away, but you'll see it. I was tear gassed during this terrorist attack. And the reason that we call this a terrorist attack is because terrorism is defined as the use of violence and threats to intimidate or coerce, especially for political purposes. And I was certainly seeing that this evening. Unfortunately, my battery ran out and my phone got full. I'm going to make sure that never happens again. But the best of the footage is what you're going to see. And again, I've not seen this footage yet, aside from just glancing at it to make sure that it was something I could use. And it is going to show you exactly what happened down there at the city county building. I probably say it on the video. I don't remember. I usually try to just point my cam and shut up, but sometimes I found myself editorializing or describing what I was seeing for the benefit of viewers who may not be in and around Lincoln, Nebraska. So again, first time that I have seen this footage. I'm kind of waiting here to see if I get some additional viewers. If you're in, my YouTube control panel lies to me all the time. I would appreciate it if you were, would let me know. Kuramatsuri, fuck off. The police are acting as terrorists. The people are just reacting, and that's all the viewership you'll get from me. Goodbye. Well, good. I'm glad, because you're a fracking moron. I know what I saw. I saw all of the vandalism down there. I saw all of the tear gas used only to push the people away from the city county building that they would have overrun and destroyed, and quite possibly torched. So, hey, take off yourself, buddy. If you don't know the difference between a terrorist attack, then that's too bad for you. This is terrorism, the use of violence and threats to intimidate or coerce, especially for political purposes. That is terrorism. So we have a terrorist attack here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Fortunately, at least so far as I know, there have not been any buildings burned down. However, there was a fair amount of vandalism in nearby buildings. I am not sure whether I got that on the video or not. Again, I ran out of space on my camera, and then I started running low on power simultaneously. But I can tell you that they were there, and again, I got tear gassed. I was on the very edge of it, so it wasn't bad. And as you see in the footage, some idiot had torn open a fire hydrant that was spraying out, but fortunately was going down the street next to me, so I sat there and just, used it to wash my eyes out. Hey, Freedom 587, nice to see you. Again, I would appreciate before I start doing this that I have maybe some additional viewers come in. If you're in, please feel free to pop in my chat and just say hi. The building is the courthouse and the police station. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they would have destroyed it had the police not been there to get rid of the protesters. They were clearly extremely hostile. They were doing vandalism to nearby buildings, smashing windows, crashing through doors. It was not something that I expected to ever see in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I am, frankly, extremely upset with my citizenry, and particularly the stupid students, because that's all it was. I was the oldest guy there, with the exception of one guy from one of the news networks here, and he was such a big frackin' pussy that he didn't get the footage that I have. I have the footage. So, I guess, I don't know how many concurrent users I have, but again, I have not seen this footage. This is going raw and live, and you will hear me talk about it sometime, particularly when I got tear gassed. So, without any further ado, here is the raw footage from the terrorist attack in Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, this is part 3. Just trying to see where all this traffic's going. Took my little shortcut Again, this is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone is entitled to my opinion. And of course, I'm Bill Stone. Hope it isn't too difficult to hear me over engine noise and the bouncing of the freaking camera right now, but that's what we're trying to do. Just trying to get to where all the traffic is headed, because it looked like it was going for blocks down. Okay, here is O Street, where I saw the traffic headed for the most part. There is a lot of east and westbound traffic on it. I think what they're doing, fortunately, is driving up and down O Street in large numbers. But I'm going to get to the end of it, turn around. I'm going to take a swing past the state capital of Nebraska, and maybe we'll see something there. I saw some lights that looked like there might be something there. Yeah, there's nothing down here. I'm headed over to the Nebraska state capital. Turn lane only? I guess I am. Maybe. I don't know. I'm headed down another block. I think it said turn, but I don't care, and I don't think there's enough people here to care either. Over. Yeah, judging by the foot traffic about a block ahead, I'm having to guess that there is activity at the state capitol, so we will have a look down there. Okay, so I'm going to have to park and go back a couple of blocks to catch up to the protesters. My guess is they started out of the Capitol building to our right and kept moving down the street. So I'm going to see if I can head them off at the pass. They chose a weird street to do it on. I wonder if they're just walking back and forth. But we will find out in short order. Okay, this is a one-way street. So let's go down and see if we can cut them off at the pass. going to be the wrong way. Okay, I'm going to turn here. think we'll probably still see some of them. Yeah, the tail end of them or something. Alright, there's a limited number of places to park here, so I'm going to check and see if I can park. I suppose I can. Doesn't matter, there isn't any law enforcement out here anyway. Gonna be some jostling as I attach this to my selfie stick. Once again, this is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone is entitled to my opinion. And I'm Bill Stone. Where did this all go? Follow what I can. There were a lot more people here a few minutes ago. I mean, a fairly large crowd. I don't know if I missed them. This is K Street. Okay, I can see where they're headed now. Don't know if you can see it. There is a police helicopter in the sky. Yeah, but I can see where they are. I have no idea why they decided to march down here.
That way we can be.
Okay, they've marched down to the city-county building here. This is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone is entitled to my opinion. And I'm Bill Stone. If you like what I'm doing, please like, sub, hit the notification bell, share me on social media, tell all of your friends, family, neighbors, pets, and livestock to do the same. There's a police blockade down the next street. They did not, unfortunately, blockade the other side. I'm gonna shoot my selfie stick up higher, get a little Okay, some people just threw some stuff at the police officers up here. I'm gonna retract my selfie stick. I'm gonna take a look. There's our police helicopter. Once again, this is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone's entitled to my opinion. And we'll go back to what the protest is doing.
Justice!
Okay, crowd is now throwing stuff at the police. And the police have deployed the smoke bombs. Stay away from that.
Oh my God!
And the
Y'all
crowd is
motherfuckers
now
so corny. These niggas.
crowd is now firing.
Hey, we'll be back.
The smoke. Well, they have succeeded in moving the crowd about a block back. Slide my selfie stick back. And they're going to have to blow the smoke and the flashbang again. Another smoke. Oh, what a fucking idiot. What a moron. And the police are ordering the crowd to clear the area. They have opened up a fire hydrant there. Crowd has largely moved into the parking lot of this gas station. Now just shut up. See if I can get a better shot here of police. Crowd's coming back in. Probably going to have to deploy more flash. an idiot. Damn it. It's going to be a flash bomb. I have to alter my position. Oh man, I think they deployed the tear gas. Damn it. I believe they've deployed the tear gas, guessing from what's happening to my eyes now. Once again, this is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone's entitled to my opinion. And I'm Bill Stone. If you like what I'm doing, please like, sub, hit the notification bell, share me on social media, and tell all your friends, family, neighbors, pets, and livestock to do the same. Gotta be a flash. Yes, that is tear gas they've deployed. I can feel it. I may have to alter my position. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's tear gas. Jesus Christ.
There it is.
I have to alter my position. I've got to go back. Yes, they have deployed the tear gas. Oh my God, my eyes. Damned wind blew the tear gas right into my eyes. Tear gas has, however, succeeded in dispersing the crowd back. Oh my God. Tear gas. I've been putting my face practically in the water over here because some idiots opened up a thing there. God. I have never had tear gas thrown at me before. Jesus Christ. do appear to have dispersed the crowd significantly. Still rolling? Yeah. Oh, they're going to have to do it again. The crowd is moving in. And they deployed another one. I think that's tear gas, the freaking moron. I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to just point my cam and shut up, but this is ridiculous. My eyes are killing me. Go ahead. Go through the tear gas, you idiot. All right. I'm going to give a shot. Jesus Christ. Okay, deploying more tear gas. Oh God, my eyes. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get in around behind these freaking morons. I'm going to go around to the back of the crowd. Once again, this is Tales from SYL Ranch, where everyone is entitled to my opinion. And I'm Bill Stone. If you like what I'm doing, please like, sub, hit the notification bell, share me on social media, and tell all of your friends, family, neighbors, pets, and livestock to do the same. Shit. Idiot was trying to hit stuff with a bat, as you can see, and I think they deployed more tear gas. Oh, here they go again. Shit.
you guys. Shot in my leg.
Oh, shit. As you can see, the tear gas flashbangs have caught the crowd go back a little bit, about a block. That in front of us, by the way, is the the Nebraska State Capitol. Sorry about that. I guess the video ended a little sooner than I wanted. There's some footage that I did not get. Well, I got it, but unfortunately my phone filled up with the videos that I'd already taken, and it stopped doing things. Not to mention it was being not nice to me because I was... the damn thing was nearly full on memory. There's one other piece of footage that I really, really wish I'd gotten to see. I didn't hear that, G. Pledge, that he said he'd run off with his joint. I was too busy with my eyes and coughing. Let's see. In terms of arresting people, too many of them operating under the cover of darkness. I don't know how you would even figure out who to arrest. The best they could do was stand there and try to guard the city-county building. What you didn't see, unfortunately, the second piece of footage that you did not see was the widespread vandalism. There were a number of buildings up the street that I pointed it at, but they had shattered the windows, and in fact some of them shattered windows right in front of me. At least 3 buildings had all of the ground level windows shattered out, as well as the door shattered out. At one point I did see, fortunately, 3 people trying to protect the door of one of the buildings, but unfortunately they really were of no help considering the number of people who were doing what they were doing. There were bus stop stations, with glass. Those were shattered out. I actually watched some people shattering out windows on ground floor levels. There was a lot of graffiti with anarchy symbols across it. That surprised me a little. The anarchy symbols tell you something a little bit different about these particular protesters. Hand dragging, let's see, should have moved that to that dump, yeah. Brutalize them, zip tie them, leave them face down, let the van scrape them up if it's a leisure. I kind of wish they would do that. The whole problem here is that Minneapolis let this thing go on, and they didn't stop it. And that emboldened everybody else in the country because they said, okay, if we're not, if you're not going to get stopping us doing horrible things, we'll just do horrible things. Now, here in Lincoln, this was not as horrible as it could get. I am not yet aware of any, besides all of the vandalism and stuff, I'm not aware yet of any arson or theft or anything like that. Just a lot of vandalism. And, of course, my getting pepper sprayed. I hadn't intended that. I was far enough back. It's just that the wind blew it straight into my eyes. Let's see. It's not hard at all. Let's see. Yeah. Glass is just far too breakable. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, who in the hell would know? Any Antifa symbols? As I was driving through, I did see one of those one Antifa flag, which surprised me. I may have to reevaluate my feelings about how this is being done and who is being involved, because clearly there was at least one Antifa there. I don't think necessarily that most of them were. They struck me just as a lot of students from UNL, and they were out just trashing stuff. The amazing thing to me was, and you may have seen it in the video, there were people that were down there, and either the flash bombs, that one just amazed me, either the flash bombs or the tear gas, they would pick up the canisters and throw them back. Sometimes there was one that actually went right into the police. I assume they have gas masks. I also saw a guy there with a gas mask, a full gas mask. So it was generally pretty chaotic. I wish I'd gotten that last piece of footage because, my God, where there was just so much vandalism that I really hadn't expected. Like I said, and a lot of curse words, F the police, and stuff like that. Let's see my thing here. Kyle Ducart. America has a proud history of riot, from the Boston Tea Party to the Haymarket riots to the Civil Rights Movement. Real progress has required a movement willing to use violence. No, it has not. The Tea Party did not cause violence. They threw some tea over the side. If they had gone around and done what is doing here, they would never have had the support for the revolution that they needed. They had to convince the people. Only about a third of the people at that time were interested in revolt. And so they had to, convince them, and you can't do that if you're busy going around and burning down people's homes and destroying businesses. That has not happened here, thank God. I'm still watching the situation to see if it does, but so far it's not happened. But that's not how you get things. I'm not sure about the Haymarket riots, but the Civil Rights Movement, this is something that Dr. Martin Luther King would have been horrified about. And in fact, the victim in Minneapolis has his family has said that this would have made him very, very sad. This is not some good thing here. Let's see. Hand dragging. The people need to do it off. They won't flat out. Our militia needs to quickly assemble and tell the police, do your job. The protests will just get stopped. I don't know what the hell you do here when you have it going down to a city like Lincoln. Lincoln is a city, when you can include the suburbs, of about 340,000 people. So obviously it's not a large city. And what you also saw, what they had done was they had been walking, they had come from the state capitol building down to that city county building, which is straight down the street. Drove past a bunch of them in the capitol building when I went. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a one-way street that not only people were walking the wrong way on, which doesn't surprise me, they also had cars driving the wrong way on. I was really worried for a moment. Maybe I was going the wrong direction, but no, it was them. Hand dragon. There. Let's see. There's Craigslist ads for protesters. Really. In every one of these cities, $30 an hour, bail covered. I'm going to have to look at Craigslist here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and see if there's anything like that. But I am now sort of having to reevaluate what these terrorist attacks mean. I'm because of what I just saw this evening. I had been of the opinion that these were relatively organic, and I think largely it is. But again, I saw people who were clearly prepared for this with a gas mask. And I saw at least one Antifa banner that they were carrying. They were carrying lots of stuff that, were no justice, no peace, and F the police, and justice for such and such. And there were a lot of those kind of signs floating around, too. Again, it was mostly students, I think. I don't know if they necessarily brought in anybody. The city's not that large. It's not what you would think of much as a target. In point of fact, I was completely shocked to find out that there was one even going on. I thought Nebraskans would keep a better head than this, but I guess I was wrong. Reevaluate. Hand dragging. You live in Omaha. It's wildly out of control here, and it's almost entirely effeminate socialist types that run home screaming after one vicious backhand. Well, there was no way I was going to touch that. I honestly carried for myself. I carried this metal selfie stick that can be used as a club if absolutely necessary. I bought this as a metal selfie stick on purpose for that very reason. And as I mentioned in chat, I was carrying because I'm not stupid enough to go into something like that and not be carrying. Maybe if I had to fire a shot, it would be bad, but better them than me. That's my whole think on it. I was not going to go down there. I have never gone anywhere that's dangerous without being armed. I think it's stupid of you not to be. Fortunately, I never had to pull it out, but again, I did not know what I was walking into, and I did not want to be the victim laying on the ground being beaten up, so I was carrying my sidearm. Let's see. Dragon, Biden openly said that he was donating to front group covering bail for protesters. What a frackin' moron. No one wore red. No, there was nothing in red. It was a lot of black. There were a lot of people had face masks that covered them, although the usefulness, obviously there was no social distancing going on, not that you'd expect it under these circumstances. And there were a number of people who were just completely covered, face masks of various kinds and all that. They were just hiding their identities. The people who were doing the vandalism weren't those guys, oddly enough. I kind of wish I'd gotten some. It might help police a little better stuff and footage of what that happened, and I wish I hadn't lost that footage. But I think if I had, it might have helped police identify at least some of the worst vandals. I mean, they were just walking down the street smashing windows. Let's see. Marshall says, I think we will find there are 3 subgroups: the honest protesters, the ones who want to watch the world burn, and the cleanup looters. Yeah, I think there's that too. Thank you, G+. Yes, my life matters more to me than any one of those idiots. So Marshall says the results is the protesters' message getting lost in the chaff. Yeah, and I saw a lot of people too, constantly, especially when they started getting tear gassed and flash bombed. They were going, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. Okay, if you don't know, that was nonsense. That guy whose name now escapes me, here's what actually happened in that incident. The cops stopped him in the street. He reached into the window to try to wrest the police officer's gun away from him. In the process, shot himself in the hand and then started to run away. Now, when something like that happens, the cops have no choice. You have to get out and tell him to stop, which he did. And then he turned around and ran straight toward him. There is nothing you can do in those situations except shoot. I would have done exactly the same thing. And we know that this happened because of the forensic information. It was quite clear that he was down slightly and running toward him. He did not have his arms up. He did not say, no, don't shoot. He was shot because he was coming to attack that officer. So it really torques me off because that tells me that the press has been extremely successful in propagating lies. That was not something that actually happened. You want something that actually happened. There's the murder in Minneapolis, but what Okay, my software that I use for this open broadcast software has disconnected and reconnected a couple of times, and I had to manually do it myself. Anyone else buffering a lot? No, that was me. OBS kept disconnecting for no good reason, and I had to reset the thing. I'm hoping you didn't lose too much of what I said. Again, that wasn't you guys. That was me. That was on my end. It kept disconnecting. So anyway, yeah, K20 leader, this is, it's one of those deals where anybody who is actually involved in the civil rights movement, like Dr. Martin Luther King, they would have been horrified by this. They would have found this just disgusting, and because all he was into was nonviolent civil disobedience. You would never have seen this back then. And trust me, back then things were much, much, much worse for African Americans than now. Try setting up a whites-only drinking fountain, for example. Not allowing African Americans into the pool, swimming pool, because you think that they are dirty somehow, and you shouldn't, be allowed to touch the same water as white people. Things were way worse back then. And people were killed by police. This is much better time for black people to be alive than any other time in American history. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not perfect. Are there racists out there? Sure there are. But to be honest, I don't know any. I maybe I just surround myself with people who, if they were racists, I would find them disgusting. But I don't know any actual racists, and I've talked to people here that also don't know any actual racists. And are the police just out there gunning for black people? No, of course they're not. In this case, you had a very, very bad cop who murdered someone. He is now under arrest. He is being charged with murder 3 and manslaughter. If he is not convicted, it will be a travesty of justice. So when they go out and they do justice for him, guys, the guy who did it is under arrest. What more do you want at this point? Let's see. Hendragon, people need to leave this country. The idea America is racist in any institutional manner is purely insanity. Yes, it is insanity fueled by the press. They are really, really rotten, terrible, awful human beings for the most part. Their job, you must always remember, the job of a reporter is not to report the facts. The job of a reporter is to sell advertising, and they will do anything that they can in order to do it. They are also extraordinary leftists, so they agree with this sort of thing. So trust me, when my local press does this tomorrow on the news, they're going to call this a peaceful demonstration. Trust me, they're going to call it a peaceful demonstration. And it was anything but. Vandalism, the smashing of windows, graffiti. I understand the cops pushing them back from the door. There weren't that many of them. They could have been overrun if the crowd had been so inclined. Fortunately, they didn't seem to be. They were mostly inclined to do vandalism and property damage. But in any case, those are all still crimes, and if they could, I would hope they'd be able to arrest them all. But, I couldn't count the number of people there. I would have to say close to 300, all told. You couldn't really make it out, but, I was wandering around, and the crowd was back a good, half a block from the city-county building, so you couldn't necessarily make it all out. Hendragon, literally everywhere else is worse for the non-ruling minority group. Literally every country, yes. Free of the 357, the left is a lot better at organizing and changing public opinion than the right. That's certainly true. And this is part of that operation. Moving the Overton window is their expertise. Hendragon, the press is a bunch of pinkos now. Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. I think they're largely communists, and I say this a lot in my streams. I am a very, very big critic of the press. I have, for 30 years, engaged in kind of a masochistic hobby of debunking the press. And for 30 years, any time that I've worked with the press, which has ranged from anything from our local news here in Lincoln, Nebraska, to news in Chicago, like the Chicago Sun-Times, they have never, ever, 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 ever once got the facts right. I don't think they can get the facts right even when they're trying. But they've never gotten them right. And I'm now at a point where if you give me any news item from any news source, I can prove in half an hour of research one of 3 things. The event being reported never happened. The event being reported didn't happen as reported, or that when you strip away a slick interface, filler, emotionally loaded language, and opinion, the facts devolve to a couple of paragraphs. Nothing you see in the press is real, and you will see that going past in my lower third all the time in every single one of my videos, because it is true. Nothing you see in the press is real. Nothing. Let's see, back to my thing here. Hand dragging the press, masochist isn't even the word for it. Yeah, the weird part about it is it's now become second nature for me. Anytime I see anything on, video news, I have this eye for it and I go, that's theatrical. One of the fun things is with the internet is that we can now see sometimes what they do. CNN was caught a couple of years ago. They supposedly had somebody on site someplace, and they were flipping back and forth between 2 reporters, one of whom was supposed to be on site far away from where the CNN building was. But then astute and viewers noticed that the very same trucks and traffic that were passing the person who was supposed to be not on site were passing the person who was supposed to be on site. In point of fact, it looked at they were right at right angles to each other. You know, one standing like this, one standing like this. You get cameras pointed at each of them, and they're interacting with each other. And it's totally made up. They weren't on site at all. That's one of the great things about the internet, that we have a lot of eyes and we can start seeing this stuff. Let's see. But again, as I say, masochistic isn't even the word. So, I've been doing this for about an hour.